Mr. Colt Ford. He's alive and well.
I am. I don't know about well, but I'm alive.
There it is. That's all that matters. You're here.
Yesterday, I was feeling like I fell down in a well. Yeah.
Yeah, the guys were saying today when we got to the lobby, and Josh and Pep were like, well, we already won.
We won.
Your partner's out, and I'm like,
Partner Bell. Y'all can't.
That's a hall
get
pass.
it. They know what's going to happen tomorrow.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, Josh is very excited. It's the first time he's ever won in golf, he said. So
That may be the first time. He won one other time that I've heard about numerous amounts of times.
Well,
He keeps talking about it. It wasn't against me, but
he's not going to live this one down, I'll tell you that much, because he's a winner in his book. He said all I had to do is get a cup of coffee and I win.
he's a winner. Well, whatever. You keep telling yourself that. He is a winner, though.
Well, again,
you guys don't want none of me and Ryan. Y'all, come on. You're kidding yourself.
That's right, man. That's right.
I think I wanted some today.
Tomorrow. It's on.
Tomorrow we'll
but
give you
you
another
got-
chance.
All right, guys.
So we're here again at Nemacolin, and we thank you for coming in, joining us here on Chasin Birdies. Colt Ford, country, rapper, does it all.
Really good looking.
Really good looking, great back.
Yeah. No, I've had a week back, at least a week back. Yeah, no, back's no good.
So first off, again, thank you to Nemacolin for having us here and giving us opportunity to bring you to Nemacolin. In this place, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So it's my first time here. I've known, obviously, about the Mr. Hardy, the 84 Lumber. I've known about all that, but I've never seen this property. And to get here now, I'm literally planning okay, when can I come back?
Yeah.
And just hang out? It's that good. I mean, the staff, the people, the grant. I mean, as I was riding over here with Tom, who I guess has been here for a long time. I was like, this property is amazing, and I've only seen a little bit of it really, and I want to come back and hang out.
Yeah, it's.
I want to come back. I want to be the elf and do that elf tuck-in thing.
Yeah.
For adults, though. I don't
For
know.
adults.
It might scare kids to death, but yeah, for adults.
Hey, the elf tuck-in. Here's Colt Ford. He's your elf today. He's going to read you a little story, put you to
Got
bed. And
I'll read you a story.
So how'd you get Colt Ford as a name?
It was one of those things. I met Jason Brown. Obviously, it's my real name. A lot of people know that know how to work the Google on the internet machine. Jessica, my ex-wife, just goes, "What about Colt Ford?" And I was like, "That's the most American thing I've ever heard." And I called a buddy of mine, and he's like, "Yeah, that's it." So there we are. Here he is.
I love it.
it
It is American as you can get.
It is
Yeah,
American.
pretty American. Yeah, I mean, if you name your kid that, you're pretty much setting him up for it to be a superstar or
Or a failure.
or not, or probably a dismal failure.
So we were talking, obviously last night, in your first single that came out was when you were 38 years old. Was it a grind? Were you grinding from 20 to 38, or is it something that you just picked up, 3 years before that where you were songwriting?
I've been grinding. It's funny. So a lot of people are like, "Man, this happened so fast for you." I'm like, yeah, 35 years is all it took. I've played music my whole life, and I've played sports and golf my whole life. I had golf and baseball scholarships, and I was lucky to be a college All-American and turned professional, and I won several tour events. That's all I ever wanted to do was play golf and music, and I was too hard-headed to be told that I couldn't, which I was told that a bunch, but I never could turn music off. So people ask me why I chose one versus the other. Well, in golf, if you're good enough, nobody can stop you from making a living. I mean, they don't get to play defense on you or whatever.
Right.
I mean, so
It's
if you're
you
good
and the
enough,
course.
you can make it. And in music, everybody, including all the listeners, I'm sure have gone to a bar or whatever and seen somebody open and go, "Wow, that guy or that girl's as good as I've ever seen." And you go back to that same bar 3 years from now, and they'll be singing along right there, and you're just like, "Man, what are you doing?" Whether they couldn't afford to chase it, or they were scared, or there was other obligations, the right person didn't hear them. So it's not always about talent in music. I mean, obviously, clearly, I've been making music for 15 years. I mean, I've got by on just pure good looks mostly, but it's hard to. You just don't know. So I could never turn it off, though, music.
Right.
I always kept writing.
Yep.
I always kept working. I'd write songs for other people or trying. And then finally, I just was like, all right, I'm going to just try one more time. And everybody was like, you're out of your mind. I mean, you got wife at the time, kids, like you're crazy. And I wouldn't listen, just like my mama said. I was hard-headed. And here I am
it's a
getting
good
ready
thing
to put
you
out
are,
my
right?
8th album. Yeah, it worked out all right. It's worked out all right.
Being hard-headed has helped you a little bit.
It's helped me a time or two,
Yeah,
not always.
and that's back to the concept of chasing birdies. You were chasing birdies in your songwriting career, and even though people doubted you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things I loved about what y'all are doing and the theme of what you're doing. It's not just golf. It's chasing birdies in life. It's chasing your dreams or things that you're passionate about. And we can't encourage people enough to do that because nowadays so many people are being told, don't do that. You can't do that. You're not capable. It's like, no, man, don't let them tell you that.
Nah.
Just keep grinding, keep
Pedal to the
plugging,
metal.
keep fighting for it. I mean, and people ask me all the time, they're like, why do you work so much? I'm like, somebody's working somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be better than me, but they ain't gonna outwork me.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's just the way I go about it, and that's what I love about what you guys are doing. You're both very successful in other careers, but you loved golf, you love chasing birdies, and now you've turned this into another thing that's just a wonderful thing and fun to do.
Well, like Ben
appreciate
Hogan
that.
said, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, ask Gary Player that about holding a bunker shot. Man, you're lazy. It's like, yeah, the more I practice, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of truth to that.
It is true. And the harder you work, the luckier you get.
It doesn't, and people will get it, well, it doesn't always happen like that. But I guarantee if you're not working it hard at it, it normally ain't going to happen
No,
for
it
you.
ain't.
So you got to get out there and get after it, man. Just grind. I love it.
And that's the thing about golf, man. We could sit out here on the range all day and be hitting it perfect, and then you go to the course and you go, dude, I was just hitting it so good on the range.
I tell people all the time, like, it's purely a mindset, and I know y'all are familiar with Dr. Bob Rotella. I think you've been on the show.
Yeah, he was on the show, yep.
So I went to work with Doc when I was like 23 or 4 years old when I was getting ready to turn pro, and that's the thing, like you don't realize it's mostly mental. I just saw some friends of mine the other day, they're like, man, I was hitting it great on the range. I was like, well, what's the difference in hitting it on the range or hitting it over here?
Yeah.
Your mind is what's different. I mean, all of a sudden now it's, oh, there's water. Oh, there's hazard. Oh, there's wind. Oh, what did I bet Ryan? Oh, what did I bet John?
Yeah.
It's like all those factors instead of just look and hit your golf ball. I mean, it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
The movie Hoosiers, he measured that hoop. He said, boys, it's 10 feet here.
Yeah.
Same as the 10 foot in our gym. So, come on, let's go.
Yeah. No, it is. It's all mental, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the pros can separate themselves. Well, you were a pro golfer, played on nationwide tour.
Yeah, I've played a lot with some of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
And one of the things with me with my golf career now, playing golf, I don't think the way I thought when I was a golfer. My mental game was completely different, and the way I approached life and everything in a lot of ways was completely different when I was playing golf, and that focused on that. And now I'm like, I can get into it for 12 or 13 holes a lot of times, and then I kind of wander off and,
Chase butterflies.
Oh, look at that girl. Whatever. It's like,
That's my partner.
Just kind of lose track, and then it's like, you can't do that when you're trying to put a good score up.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And that's what people don't realize. They only know Colt Ford, the musician. They don't realize that how good you are and were at golf.
Every now and then it shows.
All-American, as you said, nationwide tour, and then you were a club pro for a while. Through all of that, were you kind of like, oh, man, I'm not on a nationwide tour, I'm done with golf type thing?
Well, you get to a point, especially when I was playing mini tour golf and everything at that time, was if you broke even for the year, you had golfed your ball. I meant like just on expenses. If you could break even, like there was just not enough money out there. I mean, if it wasn't top 10, it wasn't making any money, and there's many a times, like even Hooters tour or something, where I go out and shoot 14 under for the week, and they hand you a nice check for $680, and you're like, okay, 14 under, 680. I mean, I spent $1,000, only 400 in the hole. It's like that was life of mini tour golf, and now it's changed a lot. So Korn Ferry Tour, you can make a living out there. Before you couldn't when I was playing, and you're always. You go to tour school or whatever, you miss at the finals. You're one swing away from playing for $1 million and playing for $1,000, and that's really the truth of it. And guys, don't get it twisted. Guys are good enough to be out there. It's just, you go watch a Korn Ferry Tour, or you go watch many tours anywhere, and you go, wow, why is that guy not? It's just a lot of things, a lot of variables there.
So you've played golf, as you mentioned, with a lot of high-end golfers, athletes, celebrities. To you, What's the difference between a PGA Tour player, and I'll use somebody like John Daly, who I know is a very good friend of yours, and absolute beauty.
He's awesome.
What's the difference between somebody like John Daly and Ryan Bashauer? Besides height.
Yeah. Yes. John's pants are bigger than you. No, I mean, honestly, and Ryan plays good, swings good. I mean, again, it's just you'd have to play to the next level, you'd have to shut down every other thing you do.
Yeah.
And instead of going oil and gas and chasing that and, and real estate and trying to move property, you'd be trying to move that dirt out there on the range.
That's it, man.
There ain't no secret.
And the thing of it is, you could do that all day and still not get there.
That's what is tough. Like, you could work that hard and grind all that way and go, yeah, I mean, I just ran out of money. I would have liked to have kept playing. I had a couple surgeries, and I would have liked to have kept playing and was still very good enough to keep playing. It was just, it's expensive out there, too. There's no, when I was playing, you had to either have the money yourself or you try to get some local people in your town to sponsor you. And there wasn't any, big manufacturers or anybody sponsoring anybody that wasn't, already out there. So I just, my dad was just a little old used car dealer in Georgia. And, he didn't have indoor plumbing till he was 18 years old. So, he helped me. My parents helped me as long as they could. And then you get to a point, you're like, wow, man, it can cost you $40, $50, $60, $100,000 a year to play out there. By the time you do travel expenses and all that, it's like sometimes.
So you eat at your favorite restaurant a lot, huh? The Waffle House, then?
The Waffle House. I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm a fan.
It's a good spot.
I even made a song about it. Kind of crazy song, but it's fun.
You wrote a song about the Waffle House?
Yeah, on my first record, there's a song called "Meet Me at the Waffle House." It's kind of an underground kind of cult favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I play a little piece of it every night because they'll yell at me if I don't. So.
So tell us a little bit about your relationship with John Daly. I know that you guys are very close and in golf, in the music scene, but more importantly, he's a best friend to you.
John Daly is he's one of those people. If you don't know John and you've never got to spend any time with him, it'll be your loss probably for the rest of your life. You don't realize what a special person he is. He's the sweetest guy in the whole world, and he is. Honestly, if you ask most guys 45, 46 and older that have played for a living or played a lot of golf with John, who's the most talented guy you've ever seen, I would bet you big money that 9 out of 10 would say him for pure raw ability. He's just one of those unbelievable people that he's like the eighth wonder of the world to me. I've never seen nothing like it. We can play in Nashville. He'll be out till very late, or at least up till very late, maybe get an hour of sleep, walk out on the first tee, still feeling it, no practice swing, no nothing, hit it 315 right down the middle with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and barefooted, and you're like, how do you do that?
I don't understand.
I mean, I'm like, this morning I can't even get out of bed. I mean, I played 9 holes and I can't walk, and if you'd have told me to swing as hard as I could on the first tee this morning, I'd gone, well, just shoot me. I can't do that. I mean, and he's been such a good friend to me. We've known each other since we were dang near kids, and he's been a great friend. And honestly, John's one of those guys that's a great friend to everybody, man. Some people will let you down. John Daly just doesn't let you down, man. If he told you he'd do it or he told you he'd show up, he just turns up, and you got to have a lot of love and respect for somebody like that. And sometimes it costs him. Him and I are very similar in personalities. We always want to take care of our friends or our people. I mean, it's just we're both kind of have that subservient attitude of like, I want to help people. I want to see people win. I'm happy for that. So he's like that too, and sometimes it ends up being you that pays the cost for it because you're constantly trying to help, and you end up not kind of taking care of yourself or whatever. And every now and then you do have to be selfish. I mean, but he's just one of those guys that always says yes and tries to help people, and I'm damn proud to call him a friend, and glad I know him.
So you play at Old Hickory a good bit with him?
Yeah, we play a lot out there. A lot of singers and songwriters out there. A lot of guys playing golf in Nashville now.
Man, golf is just coming full circle, man.
It was great. If anything, the pandemic, as bad as it was for so many other things, for the game of golf, I think it was
booming.
It was a shot in the arm that the game really needed, and on a lot of levels. So I think to try to find some sort of positive in it.
And think about all the young guys now coming up in Nashville. the young singers.
Yeah, they know. I mean, they play golf. I mean, a lot of guys didn't start playing until they were older.
Right.
And they were like, okay, I'm slowing down a little bit, play a little golf. And now it's like, okay, everybody's playing.
So for you, with your love of golf and your music successes, what's the parallel for you with golf and the music industry, right? Like,
they're fun. I mean, for the most part, they are individual. I mean, like when I'm standing on the first tee or standing on the stage, nobody can save you. I mean, like it's me. I mean, if I say the wrong word, I can, I just say the wrong word. There ain't no way around it.
You roll with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I got a cool little trick that when I'll forget the word sometimes. Shit happens. That's the way it goes. I mean, but I'll start tapping on my mic or something and my crew, like something's wrong with the microphone. And my crew guy will run out there and bring, he goes, forgot the words, huh? And hand me another mic, and I'm like, yeah, thanks. Now go back over there and shut up. Yeah, I mean, yes, I forgot the words. It happens. So golf, you can't do that, though.
That's hilarious.
I can't look at the drummer and go, I need to adjust it a little bit.
Well, yeah, what was it like with COVID hitting in the music industry?
It was
brutal.
It destroyed our industry to a certain extent. I mean, there's a lot of artists and musicians that you'll never hear from again that were really good and had the real potential to make it, and they just had to go down another road, and it's sad. I mean, I paid my guys the first couple months out of my pocket, and then got a little PPP money, and then all of a sudden August comes along. I'm like, I ain't got no money,
yeah.
And I had to start an antidepressant during the pandemic. I'm a pretty happy dude normally, and it was just killing me. Not one because I play a lot, two because these guys, these are my family. These are my brothers. It's not a hobby for them. This is what they do. So all of a sudden, I can't pay these guys. I mean, they don't have anything else to do. And it wasn't like you could just go, well, I'll work here. There was nothing else to do. So it was tough. But I got a good bunch of guys that, I fought and scratched and clawed every penny I could and did a couple of different things during the pandemic to make sure that my guys could still eat, and we're back at it again. So
that's awesome.
Been blessed for that.
And you're busier than ever right now too.
Boy, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm getting a little old to be working this to work this hard as I'm going right now. But everybody's trying to catch up, and I understand that. The truth is, though, you can never catch up. What we lost in 2020 is gone.
Yeah.
You make double bogey in the first tee, you can't make it up. You can get back to even par, but you've still lost those two shots.
Somewhere, yeah.
So at the same time, now we just got to go, let's start working back forward, eyes forward, and trying to build back up instead of trying to just chase it all. You're not going to get it all back at one. You just got to get to your plan and routine and start that grind again.
So for your music career, where was obviously your first single was the Hello World, Tiger Woods type thing, right? But where next in your music career are you like, wow, I have something, I'm someone, let's go get it?
I put the first record out right through the country. Honestly, I wrote the record and recorded it in about 2 weeks.
The whole record?
Yeah, the whole thing. It was just in there. I didn't know it was in there because a lot of my music that I chased for a long time, I would chase, that's working, I'll try that. Golf go, oh, he's a hot teacher, I'm going to try that. Oh, stack and tilt, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Instead of going with what you know. And so when it came out of me, it just came out of me, and it was really fast. So my first show was at Valdosta, Georgia, at this 4th of July. My best friend Shannon, who's the CEO of our record label, he had a connection there. It's where he's from. The guy at the radio station said, I'll play it some. We'll have Colt at this little 4th of July thing. We normally have 500 or 600 people out there, and it'll be cool. This is my first show, real show, band. Get out there, there's about 4,000 people there. It was crazy. And all of a sudden, and 2 days before, I start dealing with a kidney stone. So I got a kidney stone that's hammering me, and I don't wish those on people I don't like, but it's killing me. And now all of a sudden I got done with the show at about 8:30. So that they could do the fireworks. I was still signing autographs at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's how many people. We sold every piece of merch we had. I meant everything, and it was like, oh,
that's
okay.
It.
Here we go.
There's something here. These people, I've only been playing on this one radio, so these people know. I mean, this was MySpace days. So
MySpace.
Yeah,
you had a nice profile over there. MySpace.
Yeah,
it was a great MySpace profile.
It was you weren't on you weren't even old enough to be on MySpace.
Yeah, you was. Hey, but Colt, Well, my man, his backdrop on MySpace profile was him standing in front of the backdrop with the garbage bag. With
the rock star.
The rock star
the
Ryan
graduation
Bashar.
party.
Yeah, shut down, man.
My man, your dad did you wrong with that. I'll be honest
one
with
song
you.
in.
Yeah, one
Done.
song in. He
Cut the
pulled the
show.
plug.
And that
That's
was
not
like,
right.
you know, the adrenaline. Like I was.
I mean, the
I was-
adrenaline in front of 20 people.
I'm gonna get him
12.
up on stage with me. I'm gonna get Ryan up on stage with me.
Oh, I'd
sometime.
love it.
We're gonna come back here and play a show.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I gotta have you on stage, and we're gonna full on rock out.
Yeah, I'll play a song.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'll be the guitarist.
Yeah, we're gonna full on rock out for
Hell
sure.
yeah, man. I love to feel that rush. That's what Josh was saying. I guess he got on stage with you, dude.
Yeah, I took him out on the road with me some, and yeah,
I think he said
we were
Dirt
doing
Road
Dirt
Anthem.
Road Anthem. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it, all of a sudden, like, there's no way to explain that feeling to somebody.
Well, that's what I was going to
That
ask you.
stage feeling,
That
yeah.
was the question I was going to ask you. What's you've played on both sides of it, right? You've
Yeah.
played on the golf side.
Yeah.
Okay, adrenaline is not necessarily good in golf.
No, it can hurt you there.
The music side, it's like let's go.
Yeah, and it can also get away from you there too. I remember the first time I played Denver. There's a big honky tonk there called Grizzly Rose. It's one of the great honky tonks around the country. A couple thousand people can fit in there, and I had sold it out my first time there, and that was when I weighed about 330. I mean, I've lost a Ryan since then. I mean. But I just wasn't thinking about elevation and all
Right.
that shit. I didn't know. And so I'm jacked up because of this crowd. And I go out there and first 3 songs, and I get on our talkback mic, which talks to the guys in the band. I'm like, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they're like, calm down. The elevation is real high.
Yeah, I got you
You
going.
haven't drank water, and you're drinking Mountain Dew, and you're an idiot. So it took me a minute to go, oh, okay, that's what it is. I thought I was dying. But I couldn't help it. I was just so excited. Sometimes that happens. You get that excited in golf. You get that excited as well. You just have to learn how to control it.
Right.
Manage that adrenaline. And you'll see that out on the course where guys are going. Now they're doing that whoop thing,
Yeah,
whatever it is. It's pretty
my
cool
man-
to see.
my man over here.
To see somebody, it's like, oh, yeah.
I was in the red today, by the way.
Yeah.
His heart rate spikes at weird hours of the day, so whatever.
I'm cooler than a polar bear's toenails. So we good.
I love it. So,
Sorry.
no, that's a great one. That's what we were saying. We're like, man, my man's got these like one-liners
Oh,
that are just
dynamite.
I got some that are really good. And
We
some
won't-
that are really good, just not always appropriate.
The one you told Jack Nicklaus, we're not going to say it on air here.
Please
but,
don't.
But that was
I'm
fantastic.
repping Mr. Nicholas's shirt. I sent him a message this morning. I was like, I'm representing today, buddy.
By the way, their milkshakes at
Yeah.
Muirfield.
Oh, same Castle Pines, Muirfield. Yeah. Make a puppy pull a freight train.
My God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Dude,
that
they're
shit
dynamite.
is some
They're
dynamite.
dynamite.
Man.
I was able to see it before I came here to visit with you guys. I was down in Jupiter, and I played golf with Gary, his son, who we grew up playing junior golf in college and professional golf together, and we've been friends a long time. And Mr. Jack came out and hung out for a few holes and hung around with us, and it's just always a treat to be in the
my
presence
God.
of him. Even if you never even got to speak to him, like you get near him and like the goosebumps. He's really.
Did he hit any balls?
No, he didn't hit any that day. He hurt himself playing pickleball. I'm like, I eat pickles out of the jar, not chasing the little gigantic plastic ping pong ball. But he's still tough like that. Like, he didn't go on a hunting trip. But right before we got down, I was like, you must be hurt if you did, because he loves to
He's a
hunt
big
and
hunter and
fish.
fisher, right?
He's just him and Miss Barbara, just good Lord.
Oh, good people,
what
man.
an absolute amazing couple of human beings they are. Their whole family is just great, just a great family. Man.
Wonder what he thinks of how the game has evolved in terms of from where he was to where it is now relative to drivers.
Well, Bud, you experienced it yesterday.
Yeah.
You hit a persimmon.
Well, that's what I
what
mean,
he
but
was
like-
using for how long? Now these guys, you can tow it in twist face. There's no. I mean, the difference is so.
I think they just did a test not long ago. USGA, my buddy Stu Francis, who's the president of USGA now. I think they tested like persimmon driver from 85. An eighth of an inch off center was 46 yards.
It's insane, man.
An eighth of an inch off center with new drivers is 6 yards.
I mean, that's why I practice.
So I mean, I learned to play a different game. I grew up playing a different game. I had a Bellata golf ball that'd curve 50 yards if you so wanted it to, or sometimes didn't want it to. I mean, like, it's just I very
Completely
seldom did I ever swing as hard as I could. and I know I play a lot of celebrity events and the AT&T. I'm friends with a lot of tour players. These young guys, they don't have really but one speed, and it is high gear. They just send it.
You look at, and I'm sure you've looked at, you're a golf history guy, but you look at the 40s and 50s, Ben Hogan. Back then, he was hitting at 255, 260 with the persimmon.
With something that didn't look like much more than a marshmallow that we like to put on a stick in the fire. I mean,
so, number one, how strong was he back then? And then number two, the difference right now is people are hitting their 3-woods 300 yards right now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Kevin Kisner, a good friend of mine, plays on tour. I've known since he was a kid. Kids, I was talking to him, he goes, "Pro, I'm playing whatever tournament last week, and I'm trying to decide if I got to hit this 6-iron hard or not." And he goes, "I'm listening to this rookie over here asking his caddy if 9-iron is too much." And it's just like, again, if you saw the Ryder Cup, how many times have you ever seen a player, 2 tour players, and one guy hitting 3 or 4 irons lower than a tour? That doesn't happen. No. But Sergio's playing, and Sergio is as good an iron striker of the golf ball.
Top 3.
Of all time. And hits irons a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And Bryson's hitting 3 clubs difference than him.
That's insane.
I don't even know. I mean, it's hard. I can't even wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
It's just.
So for you, let's just say that, this whole Bryson Brooks thing, I don't see it would ever happen in something like country music. You know what I mean? But for you, if that was happening in your work of art, do you reach out to them and say, "Hey, guys, come on, this is..."
I hadn't really had too much issues with anybody. Every now and then, I'm sure you can't like everybody. I'm sure,
right.
Which is okay. So what? I think them too. That's fun. It's funny to me. I don't see some people are making it more serious than others. I'm like, it's funny. Who cares?
Right.
It's not like they're now. I don't like when you start heckling a player on the court. That's not cool. But when they're trying to hit. But as far as it just. I think it's fun. It's exciting.
Those two going back.
We could use a little more flavor like that on the tour. It gets a little boring sometimes. But in music, I don't know, you just got to kind of remember, sometimes the internet allows you to think you can say stuff about anybody, whatever. I ain't that dude. If you say certain things, I'm gonna turn up. We gonna see if you really mean what you say. At some point, that's just the way I am. I'm not gonna tell Jim and tell Jack. I'm just gonna pull up and we're gonna see what the deal is. We'll figure it out. So that's just
me at the Waffle House,
me.
Right?
Yeah, whatever. Waffle House, dirt road, whatever. Your mama's house, I don't care. It don't matter to me. I just
front door.
I try to keep it, honest with people and tell them the truth. Truth's not a hugely popular thing always.
Right. So you mentioned dirt road. When you wrote that song, you wrote it with. Did you write it with Jason Aldean?
No. I wrote it with Brantley Gilbert.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When you wrote that, were you like, this is...
No, wasn't like that at all. Had no idea. When Brantley and I was picking Brantley up. It was cold as heck in Georgia, and Brantley didn't even have a car at the time. He just had his Harley. And we were going to go write with a good friend of ours, Mike Deacle, that is a guy from Athens that's written songs for Kenny Rogers. Been a songwriter for a long time, and I've known my whole life, and Brantley had met him, and he kind of mentored us. We were going to write with him, and I went to pick Brantley up to go eat lunch before we went to write. And when I got there, Brantley goes, "Hey, man, what do you think?" He was playing this little riff on the guitar, and we wrote Road Anthem in about 30 minutes. And we were like, cool, let's go eat, and then we're going to go write with Mike. And we didn't think anybody would care anything about it. We didn't know what. And then we recorded it. We wrote for 6 hours that day, and I don't even remember what we wrote. I don't know what song that was. But I put Road Anthem on my first record, and Brantley was singing the chorus on there. And we came back and played it for some people, and people were like, what is this? And then, here we are. Jason Aldean cuts it, and it's almost 10 million singles, which is called Diamond, and there's very few singles that have been Diamond. Very few. So really lucky.
When you guys wrote it, Josh was explaining that it goes on hold.
Well, no, that is a normal process. This didn't because I was the artist. It was on my first record.
Oh, so then
everybody heard it for the first time on my record.
So then Aldean took it, or you sold it to Aldean?
No, you don't sell it. You could technically sell a song, but that's not how I did it. We were out on the road, and his producer, Michael Knox, is a guy that I know very well. And Jason and I knew each other. We're friends, me, him, Brett. We're all from Georgia.
Right.
So I was actually out opening for Jason right when he was already successful, but he was kind of mid-level, and he was and it was right before Big Green Tractor and She's Country. Like the fuse was about to be lit. And we were playing, I'll never forget, I think Florence, South Carolina. And I got done doing the show, and we were sitting back there after the show, and he's like, man, it's crazy to hear 10,000 people sing a song that has never been on the radio. Like, I'm doing...
So that song was never on the radio before
the radio has never really played me very much. I've never had a song in the top 40.
So
never.
What's the reasoning for that?
Man, if I knew it, I'd tell you. I have begged and done everything they've ever asked me. When I first came out, obviously they were like, he's country rap. That's not, crazy stuff. I'm like, look, Recitation Records been around before the term rap was ever even born. And I promise you, I know my hip hop history. I go back to the beginning of that. So it's like, there were songs like Hot Rod Lincoln and Smoke That Cigarette. I don't know what to tell you except it's words in a song that rhyme in a cadence. You call it whatever you want to, but that was around before I was even born. Devil Went Down to Georgia. Wyclef Jean, who I've met a couple of times, he's like, that's the first time I ever heard a rap song, and it was Devil Went Down to Georgia. It's like, what? He goes, yeah. And you grew up in the islands, they had a Jamaican, they had a reggae station, they had a country station. He's like, that's the first time I ever heard anything like that. I was lucky to meet Biggie a long time ago when I was doing some work with Jermaine Dupri, and he was like, man, I learned my storytelling from my mom, who loved like Waylon Jennings and old Johnny Cash, old country music, because that was what was in the islands, reggae and that. And so she would play those records. So it's like, it's not as far apart as anything is, not to get into the political thing of the climate of the world today. I don't get into that. But neither are we. None of us people are that far apart as the media and all these people keep trying to tell us, man. Everybody, we come from different backgrounds. We want the same thing, good stuff for our family and our kids. And it's not what they, like to make it out to be. So music's a great blend of that. It can it transcends kind of politics, religion, and stuff. That's awesome to me.
Yeah, for sure. No, that song though. So whenever not to talk about it much longer.
No, it's good. Well, so I got sidetracked there. So Jason, after that, he was like, "Man, it's crazy that they know." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm getting ready to put out at least my second album after that. So it's not like I'm going back to Dirt Road Anthem. So his producer Michael Knox said, "Jason, you need to cut this song." And he was very nervous about it first because they hadn't, they weren't playing me doing it, so it didn't. But Jason's a different thing, and he cut the song. He almost called me and said he couldn't do it. He just couldn't say it like I say it. I was like, well, don't say it like I say it. Say it like you say it. I have a different kind of pattern or cadence. The lyrics are the same, but I feel it differently. It's no different than working on the golf swing. Some guy you could show it to him. Some guy you got to move his body. Some guy you can just tell, whatever makes them feel it. And then he cut it. And it's, the rest is history. Biggest selling song of his career. I think it more than doubles any other song he ever had. And it's just one of those things. It was a real blessing. And it caused a little controversy at first because we have a lot of the same fans, me and Brantley and Jason. We're all from Georgia. But at first, fans that don't understand the business are like, Jason stole the song. He can't. It's like, no, he didn't steal the song. He can't steal it. It helped Brantley and I pay for our kids' college and everything. We were happy he did it. So
does he come to you and say, "Hey, are you okay with me putting this out there?" Or?
Truthfully, they don't have to, but Jason did because that's the kind of guy he is. He knew how underground popular that song was. He knew the attachment to it, to the fans. Like, this is ours. We found this. We supported Colt and Brantley. They're not on the radio. Is that underground feeling like these are our guys. And he didn't have to, because once you put a song out for sale, you can record it. You just can't, you can only change, you can't change the integrity or the lyric of the song, but you can record it. I can't stop you. Nothing I can do about it. Y'all have to pay me my royalties and writer's fee and all that, but there's nothing I can do to stop the song.
I didn't know that.
So that being said, Jason did not have to do that, but he did. He did call. He's like, "Hey man, I think I want to try to do this. Are you cool with it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm like, of course." And it worked out really good.
That's crazy.
Really good.
How that works.
Shit, man. That's
crazy
Chasin
how it
Birdies,
happens,
baby.
but it's cool though.
Amen.
Really blessed.
So, and what people don't understand either for yourself is that you write all of your own music, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, and produce it and do all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there's all different ways to do it. I mean, and that's fine. That happens to be the way I do it. And I tell young artists all the time, like, I want to write my own stuff. I'm like, awesome. As long as your own stuff is what they want to hear. That's great.
You know what's cool about you, Colt, and I've learned this in the short period of time that I've known you, but you, number one, you like to see people succeed.
I do. I like to see people win.
Which is awesome. But number two, you love the collaboration.
It's fun.
You told me yesterday you just did a song with Kevin Gates.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did a song with Kevin Gates, and it's cool.
I love that. I love that he and you could put something out and
it seemed to work together. Because you'd look at it from the outside and go, wait, what's happening here? Yeah. I mean, and that's again what I love about doing the collaborations. Is that the truth of the matter is the fans do love it. The problem is people in the industry that think they know, that's what's amazing. Most of the people controlling the industry, I ain't never really done shit in the industry. I mean, it's not like they were a former star and they know how everything works and they know the business side of it. But when you start talking about that, that's a personal feeling, man. Like, so Kevin ain't gonna just do a song because I don't know him like that. I mean, it's not like I just sent him a song like, you're gonna do this. I mean, It's like, well, he has to like it. That's very much how he is. I'm not gonna do a song unless, and everybody I've worked with, I'm like, will this work for you? And some people have said, well, if that's the one you want me to do, I'm like, no. This is going to be us. I want it to be the one that you want us to do.
Yeah.
It has to be like that. Yeah. So it's been so cool to do those collaborations and with different people that you're like, wow, I wouldn't think that would be cool. I've been so lucky and so humbled to have, the biggest artist in the world do a song with me. I'm on an independent small record label. Like, I don't have the money to go, and I only want to do it organically. So that I could probably do some more songs if you were willing to pay and just not even you might not even ever know this person you did a song with. I'm like, I ain't doing that. Mm-hmm. It has to mean something to me. It has to be, I got to feel that.
So you're also an entrepreneur. I mean, you own a label, you own an ad agency,
film company.
You're part of Squares.
Yeah.
I mean, so you just got your hands in a lot of things, and that's Chasin Birdies, man.
Yeah, that's what I love. Meeting you guys, it's like, well, this isn't, a couple of kids that were sitting around in their mom's basement. So if you want to make a podcast, these two guys that are out here hustling like crazy and have super successful careers and completely opposite of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But again, in golf is a cool sport like that. Like, it unifies people a little bit like music. I met some of my other athlete friends. I play a lot of golf with Ray Allen. Well, it's not going to be much fun if me and Ray Allen play one-on-one. You know what I mean? You don't have a handicap system like you do in golf, and people all the time are like, oh, I don't want to play with you, Colt. You're so good. I'm like, that's what makes golf great. You can be a 20 handicapper. I can be scratched. We can still have a competitive match against one another.
Yeah.
If Ray's out there going all in and I'm going all in, it's not going to be a competitive match. He's going to have to tie one hand behind his back and wear two left shoes or something. That's golf. It's not like that. And you can play it on till you're older. It's wonderful.
Oh, man.
And that's the thing. These athletes, and that's again why we came out with Chasin Birdies, and we don't want to have those professional golfers because we want to hear from somebody like you or some hockey players or other countries why you enjoy the game of golf. I mean, you think about it. You're the best at what you do, music. Oh, yeah. Okay. And you still love golf, and it frustrates people no other.
I still grind and struggle with it because especially when you've played at the level that I've played at, and the problem is everybody knows that. So they look at me like, okay, well, I'm like, yeah, I'm not that dude anymore. Like that, I can still play. Don't get me wrong. And when I get to play in practice,
dude, you play.
Luckily, last year I got to play in a couple of Champion Tours events, and it was incredible to be back in that arena and that environment.
What was that like? Nerves?
It was different. It was something I hadn't felt in quite a while. Because I've played AT&T, Pebble Beach. The camera, the light turning red don't scare me at all. I actually kind of like it. Now, I'm actually more into that when the light turns red and people want to watch or bet or be competitive. I love that. But it's such a hard game. You have to work on it so much, and to get back and play in that arena. When I was, like Josh, who you had on early, a lot of guys I play with at home, they're like, I'm shooting 65s and 6s and so every day at Old Hickory. And Old Hickory's a good golf course.
Oh,
I mean, it's good. I mean, it's hard. But, again, it's still home course. And it's still out there jacking around with dudes, in a six-em, and there's 5 different iPods playing and music playing. You're just kind of farting around. Well, now there ain't nowhere to hide. Or playing AT&T, I got Billy Horschel as a partner. I had Kevin Kisner as a partner. Whoever, Chris Kerr. I mean, they can cover me up. I don't, nobody's expecting me to do anything particularly. You step out there now, it's like there ain't nowhere to hide. I'm gonna have to write this number in this square, and everyone can see it.
Yeah, right.
And that's a different deal. And sometimes you got to get your ego and stuff in, because there's some guys that have gone out and done it and been like, oh wow, like you can embarrass yourself if you've said, talked a lot about how I can do this, how I can do that. I mean, it's like, well, then you get out there and you're gonna see. So it was cool to be able to break 70. I mean, the running bet is that you won't break 80.
When you get into a tournament like that.
I mean, every celebrity journey, but they're like, they won't break 80. And there's some guys that can really play, Romo and Smoltz and Mark Moeller, some guys, Marty Fish, good player, like legitimately good players. But it's a different thing when, you play in these celebrity things, you go, there's 4 guys that can beat me. You're out there, you're like, everybody in the field can beat me. I mean, everybody. Yeah. And I get back, and they're like, your short game's so good. I'm like, it's the worst out there. Like, you realize how good – that should tell you something. Yes, my short game is amazing, just below tour player average. But you get out there, and you're like, they're all amazing out there, and you just got to realize how good those guys are.
Well, dude, now you got the Champions Tour.
Where Daly's on. It's terrible. Mickelson.
Sure. I mean, how the hell?
Everybody's asking me, like, are you going to turn pro? I'm like, do you know who else turns 50 that I grew up playing with? Ernie Els, Jim Furyk, Phil Mick. I mean, like, the list goes on and on of guys that I grew up playing with that have still been playing this entire time. It wasn't like they took 15 years off and went to sell insurance. I meant like, I did that, and I wasn't in golf. It's just hard.
So for you, let's say you're at Old Hickory, you show up, you can have any celebrity be your 2-man partner at Old Hickory in a money game.
Like a money game?
Who you taking?
Ooh. Money game, honestly, there's a good friend of mine, Josh, his name George Burge. George was in a group called Waterloo Revival, and then he broke up with that. Now he's a solo artist, Texas kid. He was actually on the golf team at Texas with Johnny Vegas and those guys. George is young. He's got about 120 club head speed. He's about 6'3". Yeah, he should be the best player in the music industry because he's big, strong, and he's 20 years younger than me. Now I still beat him because I get in his head. I just use things that he can't. I just get in there and mess with him and say things. But man, I'd probably take George. I'm at 6'3" and can swing at 120. He can really play. There's a lot of guys who play though. Charles Kelly plays good. Darius is a good player. Jake Owen's got tour-like ability. He can get it up to 125 or so. You've played Golf Club of Tennessee, haven't you?
Yes.
I don't know what you remember about the 7th hole, par 5, dogleg left around the water. Jake hit driver 9-iron into it last time I played. I've never seen anybody hit less than 5.
Wow.
And so
he played at Florida State, right?
No,
he just went to Florida State.
He has a twin brother, Jared, who was on a full tennis scholarship there, and Jake was going to try to walk on the golf team, and broke his leg water skiing right before he got there. So he went on to school in a cast up to his knee, up to his thigh, and he's sitting in their apartment just kind of waiting on the first semester or whatever to win, and his neighbor had a guitar, and Jake got the guitar and just sitting around the couch started playing it, and
she wrote.
Made the right choice. So and then just said, hey, I'm going to Nashville, and it worked out great for him. So there's a lot of guys. Vince Gill's very good player. A lot of guys can really good players now that play a lot. It's fun.
Honestly, and I'm biased because I love golf, even when I'm playing so bad, which is often.
That's not true. I saw your action.
Not really often, but it's still the game that keeps you wanting to come back for more. There's nothing like that. Maybe a good woman, but at the same time, golf.
Maybe.
But golf is just always. It's just always going to keep you back.
Yeah,
man.
You hit that one shot. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, nah.
There it is.
It's always perfect too.
My fiddle player, and he's my fiddle player, my tour manager. He's my best friend, Justin David, and he he's really working hard on his game. I would say Justin's a 20 or so handicap, but he is working on it, and he wants to be good, same as Josh. But I had him out with me down in Florida, and we played, and Mr. Nicholas came out, so of course he was.
Oh shit! Here we go.
I mean, he was nervous as a dog shitting peat seeds. I mean, but he parred all 3 holes while Mr. Jack was out there, and he was like, "I just parred all 3 holes, Mr. Nicholas."
No.
And he took a picture. I said, "Mr. Jack, would you take a picture with him?" "Oh yeah, sure, Colt." And he took this picture. It's like you forget sometimes. I've been lucky to do some things and meet some people and be around some people that are. To me, they're just buddies of mine, I mean, like I don't think about it like that because they're friends of mine. But you have to remember, like, this is the greatest that's ever laced them up. I mean,
the greatest.
I mean, he is the greatest, and look at all that he's done just within the game with helping people. And for Justin, that was like an unbelievable deal, and it was so cool. As Gary left the bus after my show that night, he was like, I said, "Thanks for getting your dad to come out and see, because that was really why I did it. I've been around Mr. Jack a lot of times, so it's always an honor. Don't get me wrong. I'd do whatever to get to stand around him, but for somebody like Justin, it's like this was a huge, maybe a once in a lifetime deal. Sit in a golf cart with Jack Nicklaus and watch him play a few holes with you. That's a big deal.
But again, what other thing in life can you do that in, right?
Right.
Let's be honest. We probably never would have met you if it wasn't for golf.
Right.
And
my male modeling career was going pretty good, but I don't know if y'all would have had me.
Underwear model, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's under there. I mean, you just got to cut through the fat to get to it. Yeah. It's under there.
You think we'll see the big cat Tiger back on the course? What do you think about that?
I've been asked that a couple times lately. Honestly, I don't know. And I've been around Tiger a couple times. He's a great guy. I think very misunderstood in a lot of ways, and obviously a game changer for a world changer.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And it was so nice to see him come back and win again. The game needs Tiger Woods, and to see him smile and having fun on the golf course, which I'm not saying he hadn't, but to be at that elite level, you ask any guy, Jordan, Kobe, Bray, I mean, you have to be extremely selfish. You have to be the elite. I mean, you have to be, because that's what it requires to be at that elite level. And every one of them will tell you the same thing. So there's times like you're enjoying it, I think, but you're so focused on beating the world that sometimes I don't know that you do enjoy it. Yeah. And he was enjoying it. And I sure hope he does. I hope we see him again. I know a lot of guys that are very close with Tiger, and even they have not really said anything like what the deal is. And for me, it's like I just pray that whatever it is, that he comes back healthy. If he doesn't play anymore, that's all right. He can watch his kids grow up.
Oh yeah.
And Charlie, you watch that action at his age, and you go,
well,
but you don't know.
And to be honest with you, I think that was the coolest thing about Tiger winning that Masters. Being a parent and walking off that green and hugging his son. That it was like the Tiger that you've never seen before.
Again,
it was like a heart
pass. Yeah,
it was a heartfelt, like, wow, he's a real person. He's a dad.
And that's the thing.
And he
sometimes
never did that before.
People, when you get to that level, they look at you like you are some kind of different thing. It's like, nah, they're just a person, man. I mean, they got troubles, and he may have $1 million, but he got problems too.
Oh yeah,
I promise you.
Some more problems.
And they're just different kinds of problems, but that doesn't change the fact. So, you think back to him winning it the first time and hugging his dad, Earl, there, what that was, and it was kind of like that transition. And Charlie, all really Tiger's great things he'd done in golf, the kids, he didn't really know about it. He's watched video of it, or you watch YouTube, but he wasn't. Yeah, he didn't know what was happening
that's
then.
That's exactly my point.
So now to be able to share that with him and come back at that elite level, and it's cool. I hope he does come back. Sports game needs him.
Sportsbook put out Charlie Woods to win a major.
Like 800 to 1 or something like that.
It's something stupid. Funny came running to my office the other day. I'm like, bud, this is the last time I'm taking any advice from you betting on a sports figure. I mean, I bet Tiger to win one of the things. He came out and lost, but he's like, you need to put money on Charlie Woods to win a major by the time he's 21. And, you look at the odds, and they're high, dude. They're freaking
throw
high.
$1,000 on it. I mean, what? I don't know. I think there's some big money people that will definitely throw some money on that. But I mean, again, you guys grew up playing, both of you guys collegiate players like myself. We've all seen guys you're like, can't miss.
Can't miss.
Can't miss. We'll definitely be a tour player. We'll definitely win on tour. And they missed. And then you see guys, you're like, well, I beat the crap out of that dude. I mean, like, I was doing John McGinnis's show on tap. John and I grew up playing together. And a few years ago, we were talking about Jerry Kelly, who's a great friend of ours. I used to travel many tours with Jerry. And although John McGinnis won, Corn Ferry events and all that, and he played on tour, won probably $2 million playing. He's like, I still think I can beat Jerry Kelly. Jerry Kelly's won $60 million. I was like, well, you can't. But I mean, like in your mind, you're like, I can beat Jerry Kelly.
I've done it
I
before.
mean, it's like you just, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. But I meant, the game, it's just such a great game. I'm excited what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much.
Being a part of it's cool. I love it.
We can't thank you enough, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And I was just going to say one last thing about the Champions Tour. It brings me back memories watching like the Freddies.
Yeah.
Jerry Kelly and who was the cat from Maryland? Fred Funk. Fred Funk.
Yeah, now
Freddie Funk.
His son's on tour now. Freddie he could hit it straighter than you could point. Just like it's cool to get out there and see some of those guys. Like I've known a long time, but a lot of those guys I hadn't got to be around, because they were a little bit older than me. So I didn't get, like a Jay Haas and some of those guys. Yeah. Monty, actually really cool dude.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, like really, but like really a nice guy. Man, they embraced me completely out there because, there's always that little bit of point of contention of like, what are y'all?
You're taking
a
spot from a tour player.
So I'd been asked in the music business the last 15 years to play a couple of different kind of events, and I said no every time. First of all, I couldn't practice enough going into it because I work so much. Second of all, I've been in the position where I've got bumped. Like, I'm not taking a spot on a Corn Ferry event. What if that's the week? I realize it's the sponsor's choice, and that's true. I realize that. But I'm not taking a spot from a guy. Maybe that's the week that he wins.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the week that he plays just good enough to keep his card for next year. And no matter what happens, if I caught lightning in a bottle and won, it wouldn't matter. I'm still going back to play music next week. That's what I'm going to do because I can't do the work that it takes to play at that level. So when it came to the Champions Tour time, it's like that's a little bit of a different scenario. I didn't mind taking it. But still, you never know. There's always a little bit of those guys going, really? You're letting, like what Romo did, and Tony wasn't thinking, but he got in that event knowing that he was hurt and then withdrew after like 3 or 4 holes. You're going, dude, you're already a millionaire. There's a guy that has been here all week waiting on the first tee because you took that guy's spot. Like,
that you took his.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Just withdraw and be
just
done.
bail out and let this kid play.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who it was, but it was definitely a guy that needed to be in the lineup. And it's like, so it happens. But the champion, they were super nice to me, and I made sure to even. I like to say thank you to people. It's important. It's kind of a lost art in our world of saying thank you and please. It pisses me off that we don't respect our elders and that kind of stuff. And so I asked the tour, I said, can I compose an email? Because I know a lot of guys, but I don't have everybody's email. And send an email out to these players. And they're like, for what? And I said, I just wanted to tell them thank you for allowing me to get out here with them, the way they treated me, and know that I have the utmost respect for them. I didn't come out here just to, jack around and go, oh, look at me. I mean, like I was playing like my life depended on it. And, I got so many messages back from some guys I didn't know. They were like, that was one of the coolest things we have ever seen. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean shit to them.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't. Let's just be honest. But it did in a way. And it meant something to me because I didn't take it for granted. I didn't take it lightly. Like, I was working hard to go out there. And again, the normal thing is I'm sure you won't break 80. And we go there. The day before we get there, it's 90 degrees. The day I pull up and get off my tour bus in South Dakota, it's 54 and raining. I'm like, what? Did we make a wrong turn? I mean,
what?
So I'm already as nervous as I can be getting to play a tour event. Now I don't take my rain suit off till Sunday.
Oh.
It's like, but the first round I shoot 74 and, is 74 good to play on a tour? No. But for a 51-year-old country singer that's playing in the rain in his first event in about 20 years,
hell yeah,
it was damn good. I was damn proud. I mean, that's a typical golfer, though. I was pissed. I was mad because I made a bunch of dumb mistakes. And I'm sitting there going, at the end of the day, in my mind, I'm thinking, I can compete. I mean, but you have to think that. If you don't think you can compete with them,
there's no sense of
you need to stay at the house anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was crazy to do that and go, I'm mad.
Right.
And, in the last round, I shot 71, I think. I was mad then, too. Like, I should have shot,
Yeah, because you start thinking what you could have done.
But then you analyze, and you're like, no, you know what? It was pretty dang good for somebody to do. But, and they were all they were like, wow, Colt, we didn't. Like, a couple of guys, like, you got some guys having conversations in the locker room, like, how the hell did Colt Ford beat 10 guys today? Like, that truthfully shouldn't happen.
Right.
I meant, but so I still got a little game in there, but I don't pretend for 1 second. I don't pretend for 1 second that I'm on those guys' level and the dedication and practice it takes to do.
It's crazy.
It's work, son. It's like playing music. It's work. I meant, like, I know on stage looks killer. You see him on the tour, but you're not seeing the guy on the tour that shot 70, 71 and missed the cut, and he's slamming trunk Friday, spent $3,500 in hotel and travel, and ain't got no money.
No.
And same with, you don't see the guys that are out there grinding, playing in front of a bar full of 30 people, hoping that you can turn it into 300 in 6 months and 2,000 in a year. I mean, that's, you just see the superstars, you go, that's awesome. I'm like, for a lot of my buddies, they do private planes. That's great. I don't have that. I mean, but I'm lucky to be out there doing it, and I'm still loving it and loving golf and just trying to just love life,
Amen, man.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I'm glad to be a part of it. Yeah, it was great to meet some guys that I feel like will be friends for the rest of our life. And to me, that's more important than anything, man. I love. I'm a relationship guy.
Yep,
I love
absolutely.
meeting the fans, and I got fans that I've met 15 years ago. When you just go, I'll shake everybody, I'll talk to everybody, I'll give them my phone number because you didn't have anything. And there's some that a couple brothers that are about my age that they're two brothers, both are Marines. I met them 15 years ago. I didn't even have a record. We were just starting. And they both have just been to a show this year. And
That's awesome.
I call them out on stage. I'm like, that guy, been a fan, and now he's my friend. Like, I talk to these guys. Like, they'd show up if I needed them. That's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
That speaks volumes about you as well as a person, because a lot of people get in that limelight and they forget those people. So
yeah, man, I'll tell you a quick story. I know we probably need to go. So my mom, when I was growing up, I don't know what I did, but I did something bad, and I said something. I remember her grabbing this cast iron skillet off the stove, and I don't think she was really going to hit me, but I thought she was really going to hit me. I took off out the door, jumped the neighbor's fence, and she came out there, and she's like, all right, you'll be back. I was about 13. So I was out on the West Coast a couple months ago. I get a picture from my mom. It's the black skillet sitting on her stove. I'm like, what's up with the black skillet, Mom? She's like, just a reminder. I'm like, damn, man, I ain't done nothing. I'm like, awesome. She's just letting me know. She's like, I still got it.
Awesome.
Don't think you can ever you don't outgrow your raising,
Right, exactly.
You got to be, I don't like celebrities. I don't care, athletes, whatever be humble, be kind. The reason you get to do this is because of these friggin' fans. So how are you ugly to them? I mean, we all have bad days, but those fans pay the bills, I can't ever do it. The day that I think that I can't go shake hands, sign autographs, take a picture at the Waffle House is the day that y'all probably won't see me no more. But right now, I still love hearing those stories.
That's awesome.
There's good and bad, I mean, I'll hear stories and people come up and go, we love your music. Our son just died. He's 18 years old, got killed in a car crash. And we played your music at his funeral. And you're going, wow. I mean, that's extremely humbling. So I'm sitting here going, I've been a part, and they said, I just remember that particular story. They're like, it makes us feel like he's still here. And you're just taken back by that.
Yeah,
I'm going,
man.
so I've been a part of these people's happiest time in their life and their absolute saddest time burying their child. And something that I wrote means something to him or them and their family. That's why I play music.
Man,
that's awesome.
Soldiers give me stories of playing it overseas and stuff. Like, you can keep your Grammys. I'll take that.
Yeah,
every day.
That's
every day.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
and the passion. You can see that.
I love it, man. I realize how lucky I am to get to do what I do.
Yeah.
So
no, you are.
I just
and you do it well.
I don't forget that.
Well, we can't thank you enough, and we're going to transition to one last segment of our show here called the Tap In segment.
Tap in.
And
Tap in.
And JP's going to ask you 4 or 5 questions.
It's brought to you by Bettinardi Golf. All right. Lowest round and what course?
I've shot 63 times in my life at a few different places. But mainly at Athens Country Club, where I grew up at, old 26 Donald Ross. I've been lucky to do it a few times.
All right. We got somebody standing in the room right now, so don't feel like you have to pick them to this question, all right? Favorite songwriter?
That's not fair. My boy Josh is standing right there. Honestly, and he wouldn't even be mad. I mean, like, there's so many great songwriters. Right. I don't know how you could decipher between any of them, to be honest with you. That'd be I would never be able to say people always ask me, what's your favorite song or the favorite one, favorite course you've ever played? They're all different for different reasons.
Yeah.
You know, you play Pine Valley and you play Augusta. Those are completely separate animals.
So different.
Well, which one's better? Well, I don't know. They're both amazing.
Right.
Cypress, the list goes on and on. I mean, Oakmont, right down the road here, right here. They're all different for different reasons.
So we'll go with Josh Mirenda.
Josh Mirenda, yeah, just go with that.
Most important person in your life?
Wow. Can I also say Josh Mirenda?
Yeah.
My parents still, I'm lucky to have both of them.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to have both of them. My dad will be 86, the 25th of October. My mom just turned 78. So I would say my parents, because everything I've done is directly because of the opportunities that they've given me, and they went without to give them to me. So, but everybody that's in my life to me is important to me.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's just, everybody's important. If you're my people, you're important. So if you call me, I'm gonna try to. If I can't stop what I'm doing to get there, I'm gonna figure out some kind of way to help you.
Except your massage appointment. But,
except massage appointment. Yeah. I missed that.
All right. This is another loaded question. But I need an answer from you. Favorite hole in golf?
Oh my God!
Wow. Again,
There's got to be one though that you're just like, that is my favorite hole in golf that I've ever played.
All the golf he's played though.
Honestly, yeah,
that's a good one.
I don't know that. I meant
12 at Augusta, 16 at Augusta.
Those are both 7 at Pebble. It is awful good.
We could be here till tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I don't know how I could ever. There's again so many great golf holes.
Right.
I just and it's just hard to kind of pinpoint anything. I've been lucky to play the best courses in the world, and there's so many good ones. I don't know. I'd have to think. I don't know that I could. When you think about all the places I've played.
Your buddy Willie Robertson would tell him, that ain't a tap-in question.
Yeah,
that thing requires like 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. Willie would never know. And Willie plays pretty good.
He smokes it.
He hits it hard, doesn't he? Yeah, he's a good dude. We've been friends. We did a song together.
That's what he
Bash we did a song together called Cut 'Em All, a duck hunting song, and we shot this video. It's crazy. It looks like an action movie.
That's awesome.
We were chasing this duck puppet that was around terrorizing the town. It's pretty funny.
That's great, man.
Well, Colt, we can't thank you enough for making the trek. It was fantastic to have you here. We're going to peg it up tomorrow. We're 1-0 as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, my God.
And
you guys live in fantasy. How you want to know when I'm not even there?
Well, that's what they said. They said you automatically forfeited. So that's all right. You're going to get that massage a little later. We'll get a little chicken tenders tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to be coming at it.
We're going to get after it. And I just want to say thanks to you guys, both of you guys. I appreciate it.
Hey.
I appreciate the time. I love what you guys are doing and this place.
Man, we're so glad you're here.
If you get a chance to come to this place,
Nemacolin.com.
Nemacolin.com, you need to come.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. You're losing if you had never visited this spot.
Awesome.
And it's something for men, women, kids. I've seen stuff that was great facility for golf or great spa or something for the kids. Not all together.
Right.
You got it all together right here. Like, it is phenomenal. What a wonderful place this is.
Special.
Is it what?
It's special.
It's
like
special.
you, Ryan.
Like me.
Special.
So. Is it going to be too off color here to get a little cut of Dirt Road Anthem, just like a line?
Nah, Back in the day, Paws Farm was a place to go. Load the truck up, hit the dirt road, jump the barbed wire, spread the word, light the bonfire, and call the girls. King in the can and the Marlboro man, Jack and Jim and a few good men. Learn how to kiss, cuss, fight too. Better watch out for the boys in blue.
And he remembered all the words too. We didn't have to switch out the microphone.
Didn't tap the mic.
Yeah.
Nah, I remember. You'd think I could remember that one for sure.
Thank you all. Chasing birdies.
Keep
Thank you,
chasing them
guys.
birdies, y'all.
Amen. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.